technically at a conference for Nintendo.
No,
but they had 2 days of Nintendo Treehouse Live events.
And originally it was just going to be Zelda, and then they decided, no, it's put some more games in there. I guess they got some significant backlash for just saying that. But I guess
we'll get right into it.
Right into it. Zelda,
The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That was the game.
They apparently...
Where to start?
First off, the booth apparently was amazing.
Yes.
From what I gather, and it's open world, and I can't wait to get lost in the world.
They gave the demo was only the plateau. It was a great plateau, which is they say is about 2% of the game. I don't buy that.
It's probably a little bit more.
Probably a little more, but
unless we're completely out.
But they actually even cut stuff out.
Yes, apparently there was supposed to be some sort of villages or towns
or NPCs,
or to that degree, and they just completely like none of those characters are here because they wanted to focus on the game, not so much on the story.
Yeah.
Even though you could access some of the story as you played it, it's a different kind of story because you're allowed to wander and go anywhere. They do pull you into different directions, like they tell you, oh, talk to the old man or do this mission, and it shows like, oh, maybe we should go that way. But you can really go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Link wakes up from cryogenic sleep.
Cryostasis.
I'm like, this is not what I was expecting.
Is this prey? No.
And then I saw the second you open the chest and they were putting on clothes. I'm like, oh no, it's looting. I'm gone. And the next thing, they have weapons that can be broken. And the idea they said is recycling, where they kill enemies, get their weapons, and then use them.
Yeah. And then there's also like
cooking,
there's cooking to make your healing items. There's climbing elements with your stamina bar. There's weather, which means that that there's certain areas that are cold, or if you're in the shade in a cold at night, it does damage to you. So you have to wear warm clothing, and the opposite happens when you're in hot weather. And there's giant mountains, and there's the guardians, which are either stuck in place and shooting lasers that kill you in one hit.
Yeah, like this game is designed to be hard. Like I figured, it's like we want you to die.
Unless you're Dark Souls of Zelda.
Yes, we want you to understand that you're not strong. You just walked out of a cave. Rub your eyes, bam, you're dead.
And they even said that the game is so open world that you can actually go right to the final boss
if you want to,
without going to any other.
I can
area.
see speedrunners doing this all the time.
Yeah, and so I see that between all the loot elements, all of the like, they didn't really do some horseback riding, the fighting of enemies as they chase you down, the cooking, the shrines, which is new. So they're going to have over 100 shrines, which have puzzles in them or challenges that, upon completing, will give you some sort of benefit. And on top of that, we don't know the actual dungeon count. The rumor was 4. Hopefully, we'll see like how big those dungeons are. But there's a lot of stuff in that Zelda demo,
and they actually showed the cool thing with the beacons, where you look at first person and go, boop.
Yeah.
The game is confirmed for the NX. We don't know what for the NX. Well, we don't know when the NX is coming out, how it looks, but they do say there'll be some modifications.
Yeah.
The big thing is you can play the entire game with the Console Controller Pro, so you don't have to
use the
gamepad if you don't.
Which the game obviously wants to represent as the Sheikah tablet. Voice acting, that's brand new, added to it. There's no
the music.
The very ambient music. You don't have the ability to choose your gender. You are still young, still adult male Link, but the character is of himself kind of androgynous in design, so it kind of relates to both sides if need be.
Now, speaking of Zelda, you want to look at the bingo card here?
Yeah, let's pull the bingo card.
Because we actually decided to break down Zelda into a whole bunch of different spots here.
Yeah, and you can see we did get actually pretty close. We didn't have any magic bar returning element, but we did have some weapon upgrade-ish discussion. So we got really close there. We also didn't see any dungeon with multiple dungeon entrances. In fact, I think we were told
they're saying no dungeons have multiple entrances.
Yeah, so that gets rid of that. So we actually got close to a bingo here too. We also have a new companion. We don't. We presume to be Zelda speaking to us through the tablet.
There's also Wolf Link.
Yeah,
but that doesn't count.
But that's amiibo integration,
which, by the way, brings up amiibo.
Yes, there's amiibo being integrated in different ways. We only know about Wolf Link though, but we do know that there'll be three additional
Breath of the Wild amiibos. One of them will be a guardian. It's the biggest amiibo I think they have.
And has articulated body points.
Yeah, you can actually bend the arms. They also announced a new line of Mario amiibos and such. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about with Breath of the Wild?
It's beautiful. It's large. It's immense. It got a lot of people's attention, and it's a very different Zelda game. I would argue that it is the most... It is something that Eiji Aonuma has been hinting at for the last 2 years about taking the concepts of Zelda and shaking it up all over the place.
Apparently, they've been working with other with younger programmers to make this big world thing, and they kept saying. He said they kept approaching him saying, "Why do you do this in the Zelda game?" And he said, "Oh, we've always done that." Like, well, why? And it made him question, why did we do that? Why? Yeah. And so now he's even thinking of how to redo Zelda. And there's some really cool ideas in there. Shield surfing, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, shield surfing is probably like one of the top things you can do in this game.
And we look forward to seeing more of this thing, because it could have been out this year.
It's not coming out this year, guys.
It could have been out this year,
It's not coming out this year.
But
what's interesting about this, and I want to talk to just say this, that after this type of game, after this game, Nintendo then spend the next day and a half talking about their other games. And
there was one other game that was shown on the first day.
Yeah, and the other game was
Pokemon
Sun and Moon. And Pokemon Sun and Moon, they showed off a gameplay element of the game.
Yep.
They spent a long time talking about it. I thought they were not going to show the game for
They showed an hour, and they announced 3 new Pokemon. Yeah. I think that the ladybug they ran into was supposed to be...
one of the random Pokemon.
The one that was supposed to be the grub.
Yeah, but
they ended up getting the ladybug instead. But it looks like that there's going to be obviously new Pokemon. I think one of them was a parrot.
Yeah, something like a parrot. Yeah.
Or some kind of like, I don't know what it was. But then they also had there's
mongoose.
Maybe a mongoose.
Yeah.
Also, then there's also a woodpecker.
Yeah, woodpecker. But the bird. But all these Pokemon, they showed them off. They showed off creating your own avatar,
which they've done.
They talked about all these things these characters can do, and like, hey, it's going to be good.
It was a bit long. It was great to show it off. A little
it was a good way to kill time for people to before they got the Zelda out. But Pokemon Sun and Moon was then, that was all they had to show for the game was that. But nice to actually see some gameplay footage in there.
That was not the only Pokemon thing shown off.
No, it was not.
It actually started the second day off with Pokemon Go.
It's a smartphone. An hour Q&A dedicated to Pokemon Go, a game that they kind of don't want to show anything about.
If you want to get the special device, the Pokemon device. I don't know why I'm pointing against the wall here, but apparently it's on Amazon. It's rather expensive,
$35,
and it's supposed to tell you when there's a Pokemon in the area.
Yes.
It goes burp burp, and you're like, oh, take my phone. We were happy that they announced a new game. They actually did. Actually, they announced 2 new games at E3, but one was a new IP.
Yeah.
It's called Ever Oasis.
Yeah, Ever Oasis is developed by Grezzo, the development team of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D, as well as they did some assistance for Majora's
Street Pass games.
I think they helped with they did help with
Triforce
Triforce Heroes and the Street Pass games.
But it's maybe the guy who helped with the Mana series.
Yes.
Or Mana series, I don't know how to pronounce it. And it's a brand new world where you're in the middle of a desert and you have like this water spirit and you create an oasis.
Yeah.
And kind of like Fantasy Life, you're trying to build up this town to get residents into it.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you get new races and like lizards and scorpions, and they join up with and each one can join you on the quest to explore, get resources, enter dungeons, fight bosses, and each one has own techniques, so you can explore new areas.
Yeah, and mind you, the game is a single-player experience. It is not a multiplayer game. So the premise of the game is to build your town, and on top of that, building the town gives you power abilities through these characters that you can then swap to in the dungeons to be able to defeat to go through these obstacles and defeat bosses, and then continue to progress in the story. So I'm interested in it. It's definitely interesting to see Nintendo announce a new IP through this. It's funny how Nintendo did not even mention they were going to have a new IP until 2 days earlier.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, guys, we're going to have something new to talk about. Like,
thanks, I guess. Meanwhile, they talked about BoxBoxBoy, which is the sequel to BoxBoy, which is already out in Japan. So it's like BoxBoy is the character who looks like his name is QB, and you can create a block. But now in this game, you can create 2 sets of blocks at the same time. So that adds some puzzle elements to it. I highly recommend the original BoxBoy if you haven't played it yet, and then there's the sequel when you get the chance to get that as well. And then they announced a new game in the Mario Party series called Mario Party Star Rush. You mentioned the amiibo. Yes,
so they're announcing that they announced the next wave of Mario amiibos.
Yeah.
Like Waluigi, there's a Boo that glows in the dark. I think Rosalina was another one. There's a whole bunch of them. You look them up. And the game is the 3DS game.
Yep.
And the mode they showed off, they didn't show off the main game if there is a main game mode.
Yeah.
But they showed off a new mode where you play as Toads. And instead of having a usual map where you follow a path, it's a grid, and a boss stands on the stage, and you have to get to that boss room
while collecting
you run into other characters. Mario might pop up, and if you run into them, they join in your party, and each one has their own advantages. So then you can swap out. So when you go and fight the Goomba boss, you run into it. So the match is starting because you're the first one there. You get first dibs. So what you do, get points and such, and then because if you're Mario, you get another advantage. You can move faster than the other characters. You carry more stuff. So it's kind of a strategy. Do I want to fight the boss now, or do I want to get that Donkey Kong over there first? Yeah. And so there's advantages and disadvantages. It's interesting. And also, all play simultaneously, so you don't have to wait for everybody. Yeah. I'm curious, but I'm also skeptical, because they burned us pretty badly with Mario Party.
I can see them trying to innovate, because obviously 10 did well for them, but at the same time, like, we understand people didn't like the game at all.
Yeah.
So let's consider making a new twist on the handheld version of the game. Because Island Tour only did okay.
Another handheld game they showed off, because they showed off a lot of handheld games, was Yokai Watch 2. It's coming to America. There are 2 versions of it. There's Bony Souls and Flesh Souls.
Don't look at me for an answer.
I understand the interest of it, and apparently I'm hearing is the game is way better than the first one. I played the first one. There's a lot of repetition in it, so I hope they can fix up the repetition in the sequel. It also goes back in time to when you actually see Yokai is based off a real thing in Japan, which is real ghosts and in mythology. So in this case, you actually do go back in time, and you encounter these mythological ghosts. So that's cool. And apparently the bosses are more dynamic as well, so there's a lot more to look forward to in the sequel.
Monster Hunter Generations was shown?
Yes.
They fought a monster. They showed off the trailer of some of the particular type of monsters. It's coming out this month, or upcoming month, so it's going to be good.
If you like Monster Hunter, it's
great, and also has some. It's a little bit more
friendly,
newbie friendly, because you can be felines and you can just play against each other, play with each other rather, and it's good. So it probably has a good chance to be better than ever, so to speak. Then comes another game that took a while to get here. Is Dragon Quest VII. Dragon Quest VII. It's one of the largest Dragon Quest games ever,
and now it's
it was out in 3DS like 3 years ago in Japan.
Now it's on America.
And now it's coming out to America. Dragon Quest VIII was not shown, but that's probably coming out. They supposedly end of the year.
But if they're working on this one, it's kind of I don't know. They did twice. Well, they have released both of them side by side.
Not sure.
They were like, I don't know.
Speaking of RPGs, they show off Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Hashtag
FE. Or Sharp FE, or whatever you want to call it. That's already out, so enjoy it. It's apparently really, really good. It's like a pop idol persona.
That's what it is. It's called Performa in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's clearly an
Performa is actually a thing in the American dub too.
Oh, okay. Cool, I didn't know that. The one thing that people are concerned about, and I am too, is the new Paper Mario game.
Yep.
I was thinking they were not going to show it off at all, but they did.
Yep.
Paper Mario Color Splash for the Wii U. Visually, beautiful. I love the visuals. It's like, oh wow, yeah, the colors are great.
How beautiful is the gameplay?
Gameplay is the same as Sticker Star. It basically, from what I gather, don't know if you lose the cards if you have to use them. That's something I don't know yet. But the big thing about it is you can add color to your cards to improve their attack power. And then there's the big thing, like, oh well, you want to get into battles this time around, because if you beat a certain enemy, sometimes they turn into cards so they can become your allies. The one major concern I have with it, though, is that it mentioned, and unfortunately did, even in PR and everything, is that the bosses are puzzles. I remember this when I played the first game, Sticker Star. If you didn't have the right weapon, the bosses were impossible. There was no way you could beat them. You lose up all your stickers and it'd be game over. But in this case, they outright say you need to have the right thing to beat it. And then they used a fire extinguisher on Morton, who had a fire hammer, and that was the only way to beat him. In fact, you pretty much killed him when you used it. And as you realize, are the bosses going to be any challenge? Or are they just going to be like, use this and that's it? Also, I'm concerned that the fact that Morton is a boss, that we're just going to see Koopa Kids as the boss.
Yay, Koopa Kid! They're trying to get back to.
I hope, but I'm cautious. Yeah. The only reason I want to play this game is because how visually good it looks.
There was an interview where they said pretty explicitly that they see Mario and Luigi as the RPG series of traditional sorts, and that Paper Mario is now something they plan to experiment with.
In my opinion of that is, if they're going to do that, just get rid of the random encounters. Make it an action game. I would get behind that.
3D action Mario game.
3D action Mario game with Paper Mario aesthetics. There. Boom.
There.
Writes itself. And then they ended with a game I was worried they'd stop talking about, was Rhythm Heaven Megamix.
Yes, they didn't show it off at any Nintendo Direct as of late.
Nope, they didn't talk about it.
We didn't even know it was going to be shown here, and they showed it. They showed off gameplay footage and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, the game's out now."
Yeah, it wasn't even like, "Oh, here's a trailer, we released it online," and you go watch the trailer, and it says, "By the way, it's out now." People before they even announced it on the stream, people were like, "Guys, it's out now. Like, I can go in the store and download it now. It's digital only." People have to spoil that. Yeah. But the fact is, Nintendo's like, "Oh yeah, here's the last skip for you guys for E3. Here, there you go."
Yeah, it's by far one of the best, one of the best games people have played in the series for a while. People are loving that game. It's also doesn't use the touchscreen, from my understanding, as far as I could tell.
And that was E3. They did not talk. They didn't talk about. You know, what they talk about Metroid. No Metroid Federation Force. They talked about it afterwards. In fact, I think last week they showed off a trailer and amiibo support.
Yeah,
but that's not E3.
They're that concerned with the game. Like, let's not talk about it.
So, Nintendo, we can't even give them a grade.
Can't even give them a rating. What I can say though is
a B.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Nintendo. Your focus of Zelda actually was a very good thing because the game looks great. The addition of all these other games is nice too. It was weird not having a third day of Treehouse live streams, because it would have been nice to have at least a couple of those games revisited and
more Zelda.
More Zelda. But instead we had a day of Zelda with this Pokemon Sun and Moon thing, and then the next day was a smattering of everything. They did great with presentation. I miss a few of the people who no longer work for the company.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a great presentation for what Nintendo had. Definitely, if Nintendo had a show floor with the games we just listed, it probably would not have been seen so good. But Zelda was top notch, and having these games shown in addition to that was a good choice.
Nice supplement to it. So what did we predict?
For Nintendo, we predicted that Legend of Zelda would be there. No surprise. We predicted that Pokemon Sun and Moon would be there. We knew that. We predicted Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Yep, that was there. We predicted Dragon Quest 7 and maybe 8. We got 7. We said Mother 3 would be localized.
That was a big hope.
That was a big hope. And Metro Prime Federation Force. Why? I don't know. I really don't know yet.
I don't know anything about
Paper Mario Color Splash. I said not likely, but...
They're not likely should have been with Metro.
Yeah, Metro.
But no, they showed up Paper Mario.
But then the big bets. I said that they have a new Zelda amiibo, which I think would have been pretty easy to think of it. But that was true. So I got that.
Yeah.
And you said Mario Kart 8 DLC.
This was me just like was throwing
pie in the sky.
Pie in the sky. It was based off of
your face.
It was one tweet by
Nintendo
Europe saying good things come to those who wait, and it showed a train. It said Mario Kart 8. I'm thinking DLC. Who wouldn't? But I think maybe that was just my high hopes that there'd be some big announcement. We got a new game, which was better. But yeah, so I did not win that. Did you get 2 big bets this year?
Yes, I did.
And I didn't get anything. But don't worry, there's plenty of other things to look forward to. Plenty of games.
And that's E3.
That's E3.
I'm actually quite surprised. Outside of EA's press conference,
which was technically outside E3,
and Bethesda had a little bit of a drag at one point, but quite frankly, every single one of these conferences had some cool elements to it.
One consistency across the board: short conferences.
Yeah, there was nothing longer. Microsoft was like an hour and a half, wasn't it?
Sony was notorious for 2 hours,
or an hour and a half.
But they were notorious for length, and this time they went very short and just condensed. Again, no dialogue with people about it, the games.
Yeah,
but the announcements were there. They were intense.
I don't think there was anything as absurdly significant as the 3 announcements from last year.
Yes,
but overall, everyone had great shows. Nintendo made it out with Legend of Zelda, unbeknown, like in the most intensive ways.
I was expecting Nintendo not to do well because it was just Zelda, but apparently Zelda, as they predicted, Zelda was good enough.
Yeah, it was good enough to show off. Sony showed off God of War enough to make people actually really interested in what the game had to offer, and surprise announcements of Resident Evil 7. Microsoft announced 2 bits of hardware, one of which is coming out in 2 months, and had a pretty decent showing of their own first-party support too. So really, all told, there was no real losers outside of EA. Really,
EA was an error. But yes, last E3 Nintendo didn't do great. This time they just said, "We'll just stick to what's good. It's great," and it worked.
Yeah,
and Sony was great last E3. Again, full steam ahead this time.
Yeah.
Microsoft is still, I think, is trying to speed up, and at the same time trying like, we can't catch up to Sony. Let's spread the wealth and just spread onto multiple things.
Yes. I do think that the lack of NX was a bit of a disappointment, but at the same time, now having seen what Microsoft was going to pitch out and knowing what Sony's probably going to pitch out soon, I think NX dodging in favor of just pushing Zelda was a great choice.
And the reason why they picked just Zelda is because they could say, yes, you can get when it comes up for the Wii U, or when the NX version is shown off, you're like, wow, yeah, remember how great the Wii U one was? Well, let's get the NX version. Again, it's kind of promoting the NX even without promoting the NX.
So that is E3 2016. We spent way too long talking about all this for all y'all. We will get to releasing other videos in the near future.
We have other videos.
We're not going to wait another year to do this again. Well, E3, yeah, but we'll be doing other videos in the near future. And yeah, did E3 match your expectations? Let us know in the comments below. So, I'm Alex.
I'm Tony.
And this is Third Rate Minion signing off.